Okay, periodically I kind of do an inventory of the stuff that I put online. And I noticed two things that I really need to do that I haven't done yet. I have to go back to two places and kind of do a re-review, give them a second chance. One of the places is called Sticky Rice in Baltimore and Fells Point. And this is an Asian fusion type restaurant. And I wasn't enormously impressed, but even in the video that I put online, and I'll say again, I had to remind myself that I did go on a Monday night, which is typically when restaurants are closed, but if they're open, then usually you have the B team, the actual executive chefs and staff usually have that night off. So I'm thinking maybe I just got a substandard performance piece, so to speak, and maybe I need to try it again when the actual chef and good service is there. There were some things I liked. I like the tater tots, but again, you need like 20 people to eat one bucket of tater tots. But the menu was just so interesting that I feel that I have to give this another try. And I even said that in the video, but I haven't been back there yet. So I'm going to go back to Sticky Rice and give it a second chance, and hopefully it'll be better. One of the places that I also reviewed was a place called Johnny Rads. I was very interested in trying out Johnny Rads because of, to be honest, the sign outside the pizzeria. It had the logo of, well, it looked very Black Flag or SST. So I was very intrigued by it, thinking that this would be a pizza joint that played punk, and maybe there's some punk people in there. That's what stuff I grew up with in the DC area. So I went in, had an incredibly creative and really good pizza, and the service was superior to some nice restaurants I've been to. The problem I had with Johnny Rads was the atmosphere, and basically my point was it was trying too hard to be punk. There wasn't even any punk music playing when I was there, and it just seemed very forced and almost poser, you know. And the term that I didn't use, but that came to my mind when I was sitting there looking at some of the patrons was a comment I used to use back in DC at the old 930 Club when we saw posers walk in, and we would call them trust-fund-commies. These were people who treated punk as a fad, as a fashion, you know, just to be trendy. And, you know, you can afford to be trendy when you're when you have a trust fund. And it's easy to be a communist or a socialist and, you know, scream out down with capitalism when you can afford to pay your bills. So that's kind of what it felt like to me. So I did the review, and the owner, manager of the bar actually shot me some comments. You can read them in their entirety in the original review that I did. But he made 2 points that I thought were very interesting and made me want to come back. And point number one, the most important one, was that I came in before 9 o'clock, which is, he admitted, is kind of family time. That's when families come in, and you know, it's earlier in the evening. They open at 5. Things don't really start going until after 9 o'clock. And I thought, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to come back after 9, probably even a little bit later, hang out, have a few beers, just see what the atmosphere is like. And if it's totally different, then I'll eat my words. And I promise to do that. The other thing, though, that I thought was interesting was that he made a comment, and you can see it, you know, in his original phrasing. But basically he said that the bar wasn't trying to be punk. And that is the very impression that I got. So that's something that needs to be overcome. And if this really is a punk bar, if it's really true and it's not just a trendy chic place to be, then great. But that is what kind of drove my review in terms of the atmosphere. It really tried too hard to be punk. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I'll give it a try. So I promise to get these two done, hopefully in the next 3 or 4 weeks.